Hey guys, how are you? Happy Friday. My name is Christina and I am in the Push Mastermind with Josh. So I wanted to come in here today and talk a bit about vision because this is something I am so passionate about and I think is so important. If you guys are hopping on live, just say hello or give me like a hashtag live in the comments. If you're watching the recording, give me a hashtag recording so I know you watched back. I am a 4-star Diamond Premier Coach who is really working towards Superstar this year. So I'm super pumped about that. I'm happy to be bringing this topic to you because I think vision is what has helped me grow leaps and bounds from where I started last year to where I ended last year, and same thing this year. I will tell you, yes, I am sitting on the floor in my living room, and yes, I do have craziness going on behind me. We are in the middle of redoing our kitchen. So this has turned into my office / playroom for the kids / pantry. So what I love about this business is that doesn't mean you can't work, right? All you need is a windowsill to prop your phone in and some Wi-Fi. I also like to talk with my hands, which is why I'm sitting here with my notes kind of in front of me. So if you see me look down, that's why. So anyway, the reason I want to talk about vision, because you guys, seriously, and you can give me a hands up if this is you, there is nothing that lights my fire more than hearing people talk about vision. I don't care what it is. You can be on training calls that are giving you tactical tips or whatever, and that's great. And sometimes you're like, cool, I'll implement it. But when I hear people talk about vision, I am like enthralled. I am on board and it changes something inside me, which is why I'm so passionate about it. So here we are midway through August, and I always like to do kind of a status check, beginning of month, end of month, midway through the month. Sometimes we start our months with these big, audacious goals for what we're going to achieve, and we are like motivated and inspired to take action to achieve them. And then we get mid-month and shit is not going our way, right? We feel like we just don't see the progress toward that goal that we set for ourselves for the month, and then we kind of get down. So it's always a great time to reflect, did I do the things that I needed to do to see the results? Or am I just not doing them? Because sometimes we show up in the first of the month all gung-ho with these goals and we set them, and goals are great. But if you don't take the action that you need to take to achieve those goals, then the fault is not that the goal was set too high or the goal is unachievable. The fault is that you're not showing up for those actions, okay? And if you're not hitting the goal, but you're showing up and you're doing all of the things, then you feel good about that, right? And then you trust that you maybe can't create the timeline, but the goal will be hit if you continue these actions. But I think that when I sit down and reflect, because there's been months in my business in the past where I had these goals and then I was getting frustrated or I was getting no's and I wasn't reaching them, and I would just cease the activities thinking, well, this is not worth it. The difference between the me in my business then and the me in my business now is the vision, you guys, because having a vision for this business and for your life is what is going to make you show up and do the things even on the days you don't feel like doing them. And even on the days where you're not getting the results that you want from the actions that you're taking. So I want to break down vision into 3 parts, and hopefully this will help you, because sometimes, I would hear people talk about vision. I'd be like, well, I want to be successful, but what is that? How do you create that? And how do you have such a deep vision that it draws you and compels you to show up on these hard days? So number 1, the first component of vision that I always like to think about is the vision of you as a human being in this business, right? The vision of you. Number 2, having a vision for your ideal teammate. And number 3, having a vision for your ideal 24-hour day. And I'm going to break these down into parts and tell you why I think that they're important. So vision of you, who are you, right? Get specific with that vision. What rank do you hold? What kind of leader are you? What kind of relationships do you have with your fellow coaches, with your clients, with your mentors in the business, with your family, with your friends? Are you, because we all have this ideal, right? A lot of us get stuck in that following of top coaches or following of other coaches, and we just think we want that or what they have. But you got to get really darn clear about who you see yourself being in this business, because you cannot step into someone else's shoes. You should not step into someone else's shoes. You should step into your own shoes, right? So get really specific on who that person is. Are you the person that speaks confidently? Because oftentimes that is what we find attractive in other coaches. Do you follow through on what you say that you are going to do? You guys, that builds confidence. And I am a huge fan of the fact that every single decision that you make in this business and in life, it either builds your confidence or it breaks it down. So it's as simple as, did you show up and send your invites that day, or did you skip them? Did you show up and post on your social media that day, or did you skip it? Did you read and listen to your PD that day, or did you skip it? Because we know what we should be doing, right? Those are our daily vitals. So every time we make a decision not to do that, we're actually breaking down our own confidence subconsciously, because we're realizing that we're not following through on the things we know we're supposed to do, or the things we said that we would do to get to the goal that we want. Is the you that shows up on the last of the month the same as the you that shows up on the first of the month? Because this is huge too, you guys. I kind of talked about that. We can start the first of the month with all of these big goals. Everyone starts with a clean slate. You can put the past month behind. You can look forward to what's coming. But is that same person with that same fire showing up midway through or at the end? Or is that lost from the beginning of each month? Because that is definitely something that holds people back in this business. They come into a month, they have fire, they have zest, and then life happens. Kids get sent home from school, right? Family needs you. You have a crappy day at work in your other job. Maybe you and your spouse are fighting. So is that the same person that shows up at the end of the month as shows up as the first? Are you consistent, you guys? I truly feel like success in this business is not a talent thing. It is a consistency thing. I am always saying to my team, I do not do anything extreme. I'm just extremely consistent. I have never been that coach that's invited 60 people, 100 people a day. Not my jam. I'm like 3 to 5 really good quality connection invites, building connections, then feeling comfortable inviting the invites. Small actions over time compound to the big results. If you have not read The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, go put that in your Amazon cart and click order right now. I gift that to all my new coaches because it really taught me this concept. It's the first PD book I read in this business. And it really changed not only my business, but my life, because I realized that it really was just the small changes, the small decisions that could take me closer to my goal or further away in every aspect of life. So just make sure that you're consistent in the right things. That's what's really important. Be consistent in your vitals, right? Don't be necessarily consistent in making excuses as to why you can't get them in. Be consistent with, making the connections and talking to human beings. Don't be super consistent necessarily with scrolling social media without a direction or a goal, or focusing on the perfect graphic when you haven't had conversations for that day. So consistency compounds and it yields to results as long as you're consistent at doing the right thing. Is the you that shows up to your business in the right mindset? Is your mind where you want it to be? Because the mind is the most powerful thing that controls all of this. So if you made up your mind that you can count on yourself, and you made up your mind that you've set a goal and you're going to achieve it come hell or high water, whether it takes you 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months, then you will make up your mind that you will be successful. But if you've already made up your mind that you cannot be successful because you're too busy, because you have a full-time job, because you have kids, a spouse, you're homeschooling, because COVID hit, because it's summer break, because it's back to school. If you've made up your mind that circumstances around you are going to determine your ability to do this business or not, then you've made up your mind to not be successful. So make sure you control your mind first. You guys, if you're having fails in this business, you're winning, because if you're getting no's or not right now's or objections, that means you're talking to people. So you got to celebrate that stuff. Action is better than inaction any day. And just detach your mind from the emotional response from those things, right? So just know that you're going to forge ahead and do them and take the emotion out of it. Make sure your emotion comes from your mindset, which you can control, not from an outside force, from somebody else saying yes or saying no. So who are you? Who is the you in this business to your team, your friends, your family, your clients? What does that person look like? How does she treat other people? Does she value time with her loved ones? Because I think in a big vision in this business, some of us can get caught up in it, and then all of a sudden we're hurting relationships with our kids, with our family. So have you spoken the vision to them, why you're going to work at the times you're going to work, but then have you also made them feel valuable so that they know that this business and social media and the people you're talking to are not more valuable than them? So does the you in this business value self-care, or does she work all the time? Because this is an easy business to work 24/7, but trust me, people do not need to get back to hear back from you the second that you see their notification pop up. How does your team see you as a leader? Do they feel their voices are heard? These are all things that come into the vision of you in this business, because we are not just Beachbody coaches, right? We are moms, we are sisters, we are friends, we are workers, co-workers, we are our own human being that we have to treat ourselves kindly. So that first part, that vision of who you are in this business has many, many layers, and I could go on and on about those layers. But just think about those key bullet points, and I'll just review them real quick in case you were taking notes. Are you the person that speaks confidently? Is the you that shows up on the last of the month the same as the you that shows up on the first of the month? Are you consistent, and are you consistent at the right things? Is your mindset where you want it? And who are you to your team, your friends, and your family? All right. Number 2, the vision that you have for yourself is not only the you in this business, but since you're in this group and you're here to grow a team, right? What is the vision of your ideal teammate? This is super important to get really clear on, you guys, and I suggest listing 10 qualities, really clear, concise, detailed qualities of your ideal teammate, because otherwise you could just be attracting the wrong people, and that's not what we want. Oftentimes when we're trying to build a team, we're like, we'll just take anybody who will come on board. But guess what's going to happen is you're going to end up investing time in people that are not your people, and you don't want that, right? So sometimes we think we want to kind of recruit just whomever, and then weed people out. Weed them out first. You want the connections, the people that you have, to be like lifers. You don't want to have to rebuild your team every year. I hear stories of that all the time, and I'm like, gosh, that's such a bummer. I feel like everyone that's been in my team has been there forever, and they're all just growing. And of course, you have like discounts dropping it out, but I'm really, really clear about who I want on my team. And when I see people that I'm not interested in having on my team, they can go be a part of somebody else's. So I'm going to give you a list of the 10 values that I look for in someone, just to give you an idea of like how to write out like 10 bullet points of the ideal person on your team. So for me, here are my 10 core values that I want. Number 1, they add value to people. I want people who are givers and who want to help others. Most of us in this business are, but the people that truly add value do it without expectation of return, and I think that's super important for success here. Number 2, that they value personal growth, meaning they value a lifestyle of learning. So they're never going to get stuck in a point where they think they know it all. They're always looking to grow and learn. Number 3, they lead by example, because you cannot ask your team to be doing things that you're not doing, or acting in a way that you're not acting. So leading by example. They exceed expectations. So they want to stand out and go above and beyond. And for me, that also means recognition driven. We are in a business of recognition, which is so important. Everybody loves to hear job well done. And part of that means that they're going to do a job well done. So people that exceed expectations, people that live intentionally, you guys. So this means that someone knows that things that are worth having take hard work, right? And that they're willing to put that work in every day because they have an intention of where they are going, and the fact that doing those things will help them get there. Next quality, they're a proactive problem solver. So they're not looking to have all of the answers handed to them, but they're willing to figure it out for themselves. They're a big thinker. So I want someone that has a vision bigger and above and beyond the average person, because we have that opportunity in this business. So I want those types of thinkers. They value personal connection and belonging, because community is a huge part of my team and what I do, and I'm sure same with many of you. They're a positive thinker, no room for negative Nancys in my life, and someone who knows that she's meant for more, that wants to really leave a legacy and like an imprint on this world, because I think that we have the platform to do it. We are all so blessed that Beachbody allows that platform. So I want people that want to do something with that. So those are my top 10 qualities that I look for. Be as specific as possible, and list them and put them in front of your like office space or wherever at your computer when you're doing your invites to coaching. The universe will bring to you what you ask for, but you have to be really clear on what you ask for, not just a successful coach, because that can look like many different things to many different people at many different walks of life. So what are the qualities that you want in that person? All right, this is the one that I think is the most important, you guys. The last component is the vision of your ideal 24-hour day. So the reason that I think this is so important is because when you have this vision, then you see everything that you're doing on a daily basis to help you work towards that. So here's some questions I'd like you to ask yourself so you can come up with that vision of your ideal 24-hour day. What time would you wake up? Would you wake up to an alarm, or would you just wake up on your own? What does your morning routine look like? How many hours per day do you work on your business, and what do you do during those hours? How do you practice self-care? Do you take a bath regularly? Do you take a nap every day or a couple times a week? Do you go get a massage? How do you spend time with your friends and your family? Would you have special lunch dates, dinner dates, events? This was super important to me when I was working my tail off to be able to work from home. Just a little backstory. I'm a full-time mom of 3 and physical therapist. And time was something that was so valuable to me. I was missing it being at work all day. And I wanted to be able to go for a walk with my sister, which I actually just came in from, or have a lunch date with my husband, which we did on our anniversary a couple weeks ago. So those sort of things. Like, what does that time look like for you? What does your nighttime routine look like? What time do you go to bed? So literally, if you could sit out and map out your 24-hour day of what it would look like to be ideal, you controlling it, like from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed and what you do in between, you guys, for me, that was huge. My vision in this business initially started with literally just having breakfast around the lunch table with my kids, because I was the mom that was like, I had to be to work at 7:30. I had 3 little ones, ages 4 and under, a 4-year-old and twin 1-year-olds when I started this business. And it was like, I had to be to work by 7:30, which means I had to get them up and out the door to daycare. My husband worked nights, so he was sleeping. And I would have to pack up 3 kids and myself, have their breakfast ready, send them out to daycare, get them there by like 7:15 so I could be to work by 7:30. And I was the mom that was like, come on, let's go. Mommy's got to go. Rush, zip up your coat, get your shoes on. These poor little kids. And that person made me cringe inside. So the first vision that I had in growing my business was literally to sit around the table and have breakfast with my kids before work. Not rush them out the door. We could sit at the table. We could have a nice breakfast, and then I could get up and out to work and get them on the bus as they got older, etc. That was it. I wasn't looking to leave my full-time job. That little change was so significant to me that when it happened, when I was able to cut back my full-time hours and go in at 8:30 instead of 7:30, I was like, oh my God, I won the lottery. And it made me reflect that if I could work hard enough to be able to let that happen, then my next vision was like, okay, maybe I could cut back the work hours at the end of the day and just work 6 hours instead of 7 or 8. And then I could have some time to work on my business before my kids got home, because I was the mom, just like many of you, that was struggling with the fact that like I'm trying to be on my phone in the evenings when they were there, but I didn't have time during the day when I was at my job, and I didn't want to stay up too much later than them because I get up at the crack of dawn. So that was my next goal. Like my next vision was like, my ideal day would end a little earlier at my full-time job so that I could put some work into my business and then like put my phone away for the dinner and bath and bed routine. And then when I did that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like heaven, right? And then I was like, wow, wouldn't it be nice to work this full-time from home? And that way I could get all of my work done when they were there. I could take a walk during the day with my sister. I could go for a lunch date with my husband. I could get my appointments in, like my doctor's appointments, without having to ask for time off of work. I could go get a massage for self-care because that's important. Or I could take a nap or get a pedicure or read a book leisurely. I could control my time. And guess what happened, you guys? I got there, which is why I'm sitting on my floor in my living room in the middle of the day on a Friday and not at work. So having the clarity in that vision gives you something to work for, because those are life-changing things, you guys. I don't care if my paycheck is $2,000 a week or $20,000 a week or $200 a week. If whatever it was enough to give me my 24-hour day, I won. And then I could only see more possibilities from there. So everything that you do is meaningful only if you have vision. It makes showing up to make those connections something you want to do. It makes showing up to send those invites something you want to do. It makes showing up to your social media or going in your stories something you want to do. Why? Not because you love sending invites, doing stories, and connecting with people, because you have that vision and you know that these are the things that are allowing you to get there, where maybe your full-time job like mine was never going to allow you to get there. So your vision needs you to show up for it just like your kids do, or just like your cat does, or your dog does that you need to take it for a walk, or just like your spouse does if you don't have cats, dogs, or kids, right? Or your vision needs you to show up for it. So do not let your vision down. Okay? So that is the importance of having vision. Those are 3 of my top tips for creating a really well-rounded one in your business. So you have components of who you are, who you're looking for, and how to create that life that you want. I hope that helped. Please give me some feedback. Let me know if it did. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, anything you'd like to add. Feel free to personally message me. And I hope you guys are having an amazing Friday. Okay, bye.